Lời đầu tiên xin chào các độc giả đã đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com. Khi tìm đến với website rèn luyện kỹ năng, chắc hẳn bạn đang mong muốn tìm cho mình một công cụ tốt nhất trong quá trình rèn luyện kỹ năng. Kỹ năng ở đây có thể là kỹ năng lãnh đạo, kỹ năng bán hàng, kỹ năng mềm, kỹ năng sống và rất nhiều các kỹ năng khác. Thông thường khi nghĩ đến việc rèn luyện các kỹ năng như chúng tôi đã đề cập ở trên, chúng ta thường hay nghĩ đến việc tìm mua cái đầu sách hoặc tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Nhưng trong cuộc sống bận rộn của thế kỷ 21, thời gian và tiền bạc là hai thứ luôn bị giới hạn nhiều nhất. Với sự ra đời của website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com, chúng tôi mang đến cho bạn một công cụ tốt hơn trong việc rèn luyện kỹ năng của mình, đó chính là các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng. Bạn sẽ không còn phải tốn quá nhiều thời gian để đọc sách hay tốn quá nhiều tài chính để tham gia các chương trình hội thảo. Chỉ cần bỏ DVD vào đầu máy, ngay lập tức bạn đã có thể tận hưởng những thước phim quý giá được chia sẻ từ các diễn giả nổi tiếng tại Việt Nam và trên thế giới. Website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cung cấp đầy đủ cho bạn các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng trên nhiều lĩnh vực. Tất cả các DVD rèn luyện kỹ năng của các diễn giả nước ngoài có tại website rèn luyện kỹ năng.com đều có phụ đề 100%, hỗ trợ tối đa cho quý độc giả khi theo dõi. Rèn luyện kỹ năng.com cam kết chất lượng tất cả các DVD khi cung cấp cho quý khách hàng. Với hân hạnh được phục vụ cho rất nhiều các khách hàng trên cả nước. Chỉ cần click đặt hàng, trong vòng 1 đến 3 ngày, bạn đã có thể cầm sản phẩm trong tay. Rèn luyện kỹ năng hân hạnh được phục vụ quý khách.
Things are not always as they are perceived. The same is true, I believe, in leadership. Sometimes I think we blow leadership up to be this big, overwhelming type of thing, and in fact, I truly believe that leadership is simple. It's very hard, but it's simple. I think the concepts of leadership are simple, and I think there are some simple things that we can begin to do, even though they're hard, starting tomorrow to become a better leader. That's my whole goal. And I found that basically, people will follow you for two basic reasons. Now there's lots of peripheral issues on why they might follow you, but there's two basic reasons on which people will follow you, in which they will make their decisions, either conscious or subconscious, on whether or not they are going to allow you to influence them. See, everybody makes a decision. Your followers are constantly making decisions, whether they're conscious or subconscious. Am I going to allow this person to influence me, or to what degree am I going to allow this person to influence me? The two primary reasons that I found, and other people have confirmed with me, on which people make this decision on whether others will be allowed to influence them, two things. Number one, your skills. People want to know that your skills are further ahead of them because they want to become like you. They want to move toward you. They want to grow into that same level in which your skills have grown to. The second reason is your character. People will follow you based on your skills and your character. And it cannot be one without the other. Now think about that for a moment. What if you have tremendous character and bad skills? What are you? You're a nice guy. I might invite you over to the Super Bowl, watch the party with me, watch the game with me, eat chips with me. I might invite you over for dinner. I might let you watch my kids. But you're probably not going to be a leader, because I'm always going to have this question about your skills. Great character, wonderful person, great human being, probably not a leader. What if, on the other hand, you have tremendous skills and very poor character? What are you? You're basically a charlatan. Now, the insidious thing about this matchup here is that you will be able to lead for a while. Because people will follow your skills for a while, but eventually the undercurrent or the rotting of the character underneath will make those people, even though your skills are good, will make them basically say, I don't know. I don't know about that person. I don't know if I trust that person. Because isn't the agreement between a leader and a follower, I will take you here. And the follower has to make a decision. Will he really take me there? Will she really take me there? Is he really telling the truth? Is she really telling the truth? Can that person really take me there? And it comes down to a trust issue. Do they trust your character? Let's start with the skills. Now, the first skill set that we're going to talk about is communication. Now you might say, well, that's something that everybody says, and what do you mean by communication? There's something very specific that I want to talk to you about in regard to communication. Most of you who are leaders are go-getters. That's what I found about leaders. They're go-getters. One of the things about leaders and about go-getters is that you can pretty much just, if you even have to tell them at all, you only have to tell them once, hey, can we get this done? But it's different with followers. One of the problems that we have as leaders is that we communicate to followers who aren't necessarily go-getters as though we ourselves would want to be communicated to. So, like for me, if you want me to get something done, give it to me once, don't harangue me on it, I'll get it done for you. I'm great at getting tasks done. And so I tend to communicate that way. You probably find yourself doing the very same thing. You say it once, and then when it doesn't happen, you say, well, why isn't this happening? Now I want to talk to you a little bit about communication and the communication process, and then draw some ideas for us that you can apply starting tomorrow. But I want to go through the communication process just to drive home an idea with you that communication is not simple. You cannot just tell somebody something and expect them to get it. And then we're going to draw some very practical things out of it. When you have communication, you have, how's that? That looks pretty good. Got an eye there. And then you got another person here, and they've got, hey, that turned out actually pretty good. And you got two people communicating, right? Now let's think through this communication process, because most of us as leaders, if we haven't thought through the communication process, we think to ourselves, well, I tell them, they hear, they do, and if they don't do, then, you know, we've got problems. It's much more intricate than that. And one of the things that really helped me as a leader is when I realized the intricacy of it and what I need to do to make sure that real, true communication takes place. The primary skill that you can learn is communication. Where does communication start? I would say it starts in the heart, or it starts in the soul, or whatever you want to call it, that internal part of us that is emotion-driven. One of the best lessons I ever learned, I was sitting in the hot tub at the Sammamish Club in Issaquah, and this salesman, a very sales-oriented guy, just sold his business for like $12 million. We were talking about the sales process. He said, Chris, learn this. Everybody makes decisions with their heart and justifies them with their logic. Everything is made in the decision level with their heart. How they feel about it, they justify it with logic. They love the smell of the leather and the sound of the roar of the engine, but they're always going to talk about gas mileage and torque. It starts in the heart. Now from the heart, where does it go in the heart? Then where does it go? Then it goes up into the mind, right? And the mind has to take the heart and has to put words to it and has to put it into something that they can then begin to say. And at every one of these levels, there's the possibility of breakdown, which is most easily demonstrated in the next part here, which is it goes through the tongue. Now, how many times have you yourself said, or you've heard somebody else say, you're trying to communicate, you say, I'm just not saying what I'm thinking. Now, doesn't that seem strange to you? I mean, it's your tongue, it's your brain. Why can't you say what you're thinking? But there's a breakdown in the communication process at every single level. Now, from the tongue, and these things are going to look really weird by the time we're done with them, but from the tongue, where does communication go? Where does it go? Ears. Almost every single person in these seminars says ears. It does not go into the ears. It goes into what I call circumstances. It goes to the circumstances. It's why if you tell one joke at a wedding, people will laugh. You tell the same joke at a funeral, people will say, that person's rude and I can't believe they said it. Same joke, same words. It's why if I were to invite you over to, say, a roasted pig, maybe I'm going to roast a pig in the back, and I invite you over, you might say, that sounds like fun. Can I bring my kids? We'll have you'll have a great time. But if you're Jewish and I invite you over to a roasted pig, you'd have different way of understanding it because of culture. Circumstances and the things that we communicate through have a direct effect. Now you might say, okay, put some legs on that, Chris, for work. What if somebody in your group that you're leading is having marriage problems? And you're trying to get them to do something, you're trying to power them up, and they've got this major thing that's taking place at home that you may not even know about. All of that resides through here. The effective leader,